All right, Red Zone Room, we're back again. We got all three of us on here today. Just a classic week three recap going through each game. So, short little intro. I'll keep it at that. But we'll start out with the Thursday night game. Panthers 24, Texans 9. Whoever wants to lead with that.
Uh, Not like an I told you so or anything, but I told you so. Sam Darnold can still be a solid quarterback in the NFL. I remember everybody was like, "Oh, look at Joe Flacco. He put up better numbers than Sam Darnold did in the same system." It's like, well, yeah, I'd hope so. Joe Flacco's been in the NFL for 8 years. He doesn't need time to develop. No, not yet. Okay, Joe Flacco didn't need time to develop. Sam Darnold did not develop in the NFL. He was just put in the NFL, and then he didn't have any development. So of course he's not able to put up good numbers because his coach was Adam Gase. I thought it was a good win. I thought the loss of J.C. Horn is going to be pretty brutal, but they definitely fleeced the Jaguars in that trade. I don't know. I think the Panthers are going to be a really good team. I think that was a really good win against the Texans, and I think there's good things to come for the Panthers.
I was definitely one of those people that said Sam Darnold wouldn't work, but I mean, am I ready to completely own up to it? I mean, I guess I don't know. It's not like he's unbelievably incredible. I mean, he's the definition of an average quarterback at
I mean, he's
best
averaging 300 yards a game. He has 6 touchdowns and 1 turnover.
against the Texans and the Jets and the Saints team without any coaches.
I'm fine with that. I think he's doing
Yeah.
fine.
No, he's been doing fine. He's been doing good, but like, am I gonna say he's like going to be like? I don't even think he can be top 15 to be honest. Like, he's in a pretty good situation, and he's kind of play. I just want to see him go up against a legit good team. And I think next week they play Dallas, so I might get my wish. But anyway, yeah, I'll give credit to Sam Darnold. He's done a good job. Davis Mills sucks. I will continue to say that. I hate. If you follow me on TikTok, I've been the biggest anti Davis Mills guy, maybe on TikTok because no one really knows who he is. I hated Davis Mills. I hated him so much, and I don't want him to fail because that's kind of like mean, but like I want him to fail. So yeah.
Yeah, well, you guys pretty much said everything that I was going to say. So, we'll go over to the next game. The Chiefs and the Chargers. Chiefs took the L. I personally, I would be worried about the Chiefs. Not too much, like they're still. But here's the thing: that division is the second best division in football. All three of the other teams, the Raiders, the Broncos, the Chargers in that division, are going to be tough matchups every week. They got to play them all twice, and to already be 2 games behind, that's going to come back to bite them in the ass. The defense does not look good at all. We've seen the last 2 games with Tyreek Hill has been shut down. It's been a completely different Chiefs team, and I don't think they have. I mean, I don't know. They just have too many issues right now, and if they continue to slide like this, they might be struggling to make the playoffs, and that might be a little bold to say, but I'm just saying, say they lose again next week, they're that far behind in the division with 3 other really good teams that that could be big. Um, but the Chargers definitely look legit to me. They're a lot better than I thought they'd be. Brandon Staley's done a great job, but yeah.
Yeah, I said before the season, I thought Kansas City was going to get off to a really bad start, but I thought it was going to be because of the offensive line, and it's not. I mean, they have like the fifth lowest quarterback sack percentage in the NFL right now. But I think it's just been. I mean, the offense has been very streaky, and that defense has been abysmal in the first half. I'm not. I'm not pressing the panic button just yet. Maybe give it 2 weeks or so, and I would if they go 1-4 or something. But I don't see that happening. I think it was just the Chargers they just played a better game of football, and I think it just that's what it comes down to. I don't. The Chiefs can be fine. I don't know how else to really say it. It's still Patrick Holmes. This team still went to the Super Bowl last year. And sure, it's taking a little bit longer to get off of the you know, Super Bowl loss, but I think they'll be fine. I wouldn't worry.
No, I'm not too concerned about the Chiefs, but their issues are pretty valid, and I guess I overlooked them whenever I said they could possibly go 17-0. I was probably overlooking that because I just really like that offensive line, and it's been holding up. But man, they that draft is not the draft. That team was just weird. They don't really have a wide receiver too. The pass rush is kind of a joke. By the way, Honestly, when I look at the Chiefs, I view a team that I don't view them as Super Bowl contenders anymore. Obviously playoff
Wait,
contenders, but I
what?
don't know. I don't know if I view the Chiefs as Super Bowl content, like a true like front runner for the Super Bowl. I don't know if I see that anymore.
What would you say front runner is? Like top four?
Yeah, well, what I meant to say was just like the actual front runner. I would say like
Okay.
I don't view them as the actual front runner at this point. If I were to say a team, I would say maybe Buffalo. I know that's crazy to say, but dude, Josh Allen just lit up Washington. Like he put a 5 touchdowns over
Yeah, but
400
so did
yards
Daniel
passing.
Jones. I mean, like
Okay,
Washington's
but like
defense
this was,
is not good.
but the thing is that Buffalo killed them, and the Daniel Jones lost to them. So
Daniel Jones
just
actually he beat them. The refs just screwed up that game.
yeah, no. Even if they should have won, it was only going to be by a couple points, and Buffalo went in there and just punched them in the teeth.
Yeah.
But I would say
No, I
either
completely
Buffalo
agree.
or I would say Cleveland. I mean, maybe Baltimore, but this is what I like about the NFL this year. There isn't a team that feels unbeatable. And I know I'm getting off topic. There doesn't feel like a team that's like completely unbeatable. Every single team feels beatable. The Bucks lost. The Rams almost lost to the Colts. The Cardinals have almost lost to the Vikings. And I don't want to say they almost lost to the Jaguars, but they had a tough game against the Jaguars. The Niners just lost to Green Bay. I mean, no team this year really feels unbeatable, and I kind of like it. But anyway, back to this. The Chiefs really need to address this pass rush. They're going to cut Frank Clark after this offseason. I can guarantee you that. They have a potential outing with him. They're not paying this guy $20 million just to get 7 sacks a season. Like, that's a joke. If I were the Chiefs, the Chiefs are going to have money, which is a good thing because that's not what people expect. They're going to have money. Go sign an edge rusher, go sign a receiver, and then go draft the other with your first round pick. This is not your year to win the Super Bowl. I'm sorry.
All right, let's go to the Cardinals, 31, Jaguars, 19.
I'll start with this. So, Kyler Murray had one of the weirdest games I have ever seen Kyler Murray play. He had over 300 yards passing and a completion percentage of 82%, but it really didn't feel like he played that well. Had a really, really bad turnover. I don't know what he was.
Such a bad pick. That was
I don't
so
know.
bad.
I don't know what he was thinking, but I did like the fact that he's taking risks this season, and as long as he's putting up points, I don't really care if he's throwing turnovers. Kind of like Patrick Mahomes in 2018. Like he's doing incredible things and he's scoring points. I don't care that he's throwing turnovers, and that's what Kyler's been doing this year. He's been making plays. Sure, he's been throwing turnovers here and there. I don't care as long as he has a consistently good game, I'm fine with it. His completion percentage is like top 5 in the league. 300 yards passing, 1 rushing TD, an interception. It was a weird game, a hard-fought game against Jacksonville. If we go out and we play like that against LA, we're going to get smacked. So hopefully we can get back to that Titans form. We played the Tennessee Titans, but anyway, it was a closer game than what the score said. I don't know what was going on, but hopefully we can bounce back. Jacksonville, they played their hearts out. I'll give them that, but we won the game. Not by much, though.
440?
I mean, you guys are saying exactly what's on my mind. I don't really have too much to say from that, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not sold on the Cardinals yet. I mean, they beat
We're
the
better
Titans.
than the Niners. Come on, we're better than the Niners.
I don't know. Like I'm not there yet. I can't say the Niners are better. Like to me, they're both. Like here's the thing, guys. Like I remember last podcast was like, oh, it's just week 1. Like let's let things happen. It's still only week 3. There are still 14 more games that they have to play, and I feel like there's a lot of uncertainty. And like right now, the Raiders and the Broncos are the 1 and 2 seeds in the AFC. I mean, like we really don't know anything yet, and like honestly, I give it till like 5 or 6 weeks until we actually start to see some patterns developing. I don't know how to feel about the Cardinals yet. Like I feel like they're winning games, but they're not winning them like I'd want them to. I don't think that they have a true RB1, and I feel like you kind of need to when you're in a division that seems to have a pretty well developed run game. I don't know. I can't really form like too much of an opinion on it just because like I don't really know how to feel about them. My gut's telling me I'm not sold on them. I don't know. That's really it.
That's a fair-ish point. I can see what you're saying, but like, I mean, the running back part, it's like that's why Kyler's back there. Like, still, no one has chosen to guard that little rollout from the 1 yard line to the end zone.
Yeah,
Nobody touches that. But yeah, no, he's a game changer back there. But let's go to the Browns, 26, Bears 6. I heard Picknspreads on live earlier talking about Justin Fields, so want to hear your takeaways from that.
His offensive line was extremely bad, but let's not completely blame the offensive line because Justin Fields did not have a good game. Now, what does the majority of the blame go to? Probably the offensive line, but let's not try to act like if he had a good O-line, he would have had a good game. He had many problems that I saw in college. He holds on to the ball too long. His decision making, his decision making can be kind of hit or miss. It's better than Zach Wilson's, that's for sure. But his ability to read the defense is a problem. Everything that I said was a problem with Justin Fields in the draft has shown. And along with some of the rookie quarterbacks, like, Mac Jones has had some problems that I've seen. Like, all the rookie quarterbacks have had problems that I've seen. But Justin Fields, it really shows the most, it feels like. I'm not going to sit here and say he's been the worst, but the problems that I saw in college are just so noticeable.
Dude, he's played one game. He played
I get that. I'm not going to
Myles Garrett. Sorry,
Myles Garrett. Well, Klein had a good game too.
Yeah, but
that's why I'm not going to overreact to it. But the only thing I'm trying to say is, like, let's not act like Fields was playing well. Like, even if his own line would have played well.
I don't think anybody thinks he was playing well. I mean, he had a completion percentage over expectation of negative 28%. It was the worst since Nathan Pearman in week 1 of 2018. Like, I don't think anybody thinks that Fields had, like, the offensive line is really bad. And I'm not going to overreact about any quarterback. I'm not going to say that Zach Wilson's a bust. It's
none of these guys are. Yes, none of these guys are busts.
The only team that's doing it right now is the 49ers, and I guess maybe the Patriots, because, like, it's fine you started Mac Jones, but I'm still not even completely sold on starting Mac Jones week 1. The Niners are the only team that's doing it right by setting Trey Lance. The Jets should be doing the same thing. I think certainly the Bears should be doing the same thing. There's no reason you should be starting Justin Fields. He should be sitting on the bench and learning and developing. I don't understand why these teams, huh?
And he don't got hurt, but that's kind of
yes. Okay, that's a fair point. That's actually a very fair point. When you look at these teams like the Jets who are not competing for anything, you look at the Bears who aren't competing for anything. You look at, I don't even know why Trevor Lawrence is starting, if I'm being completely honest.
No, Trevor Lawrence should be starting.
I'd give Gardner Minshew the start over him, honestly. Dude, I feel like if you're not playing for anything, why are you putting them in? They're only going to develop bad habits, like we saw with Sam Darnold.
I mean, that's not always true, though. I mean, look at what happened with Josh Allen. Josh Allen, he sat for big games. Let's look at Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray was thrown straight into the fire, and he's obviously performing well so far. I mean, same with Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow was thrown into the fire. He had a pretty good rookie season.
He had a good rookie season, but, I mean, I think early on we've definitely seen some shaky parts of his game that were exploited, that we were worried about in college that have been exploited in the NFL.
Yes, but it's only a second year, and I like it when quarterbacks start early because get it out of the way. Now, trust me, it's nice to sit and learn. I get it. But I feel like you should only do that when you have a veteran quarterback on your team, like Justin Fields did with Andy Dalton, and like Trey Lance with Jimmy G, and I guess Mac Jones with Cam. Not really, though, but, like, I mean, he learned.
I'd rather have Cam.
Not by much. I mean, what can Gardner Minshew teach Trevor Lawrence? I mean, not that much. It's not like Gardner Minshew has been that crazy successful in the league. And Zach Wilson was the only good quarterback on the team when he got drafted. Their starting quarterback before he got drafted was James Morgan. And if you don't know who that is, he was a 6th-round pick in 2020. That was the other quarterback. They didn't really have a veteran on that team that could teach him anything. So, I mean, I think that's kind of an exception. So, I mean, you kind of have to throw them in the fire because veteran quarterbacks aren't really, like, there's not a long supply of them. Right? There really isn't. So, I mean, there's some exceptions. And I think it's that the Zach Wilson and Trevor Lawrence one is an exception. But I do agree with you on the Mac Jones one. I don't think they should have put him in.
Yeah, I mean, you can convince me on Lawrence. Like, I don't know. 440, what do you think?
I'm on Picknspreads side. I don't know how. I mean, can you imagine, like, drafting Trevor Lawrence first overall and just, like, sitting him the whole year behind somebody named Gardner Minshew, who's, like he said, he's, like, what, 3rd year? Like, what's he going to teach Trevor Lawrence?
Not to mention, Trevor Lawrence is also probably the greatest quarterback prospect we've ever seen. So.
And, like, you can develop. You don't have to, like, develop what you were saying is like you have to sit and learn to be able to develop. You can develop while you're playing like your first year. Like
And that's what Kyler did. I mean, literally, that's what
that's
Kyler
what
did.
Josh Allen did, honestly. And
That's what Josh Allen
and
did as
we
well.
threw
Yeah.
Justin Herbert in there week 2. He had no struggles whatsoever.
That's all fair.
All right, well, let's get into the next game. Let's go for the Bills 43, Washington 21. Washington, not sure where their defense has been at. Thought it was supposed to be a top 3, top 5 defense. They haven't proven much to me yet. Obviously, no knock on the Bills. Their offense looked amazing. Are the Bills the top team in the AFC right now?
If it wasn't for a block punt, they'd be 3-0. I'm just gonna say it now. If it wasn't for a block punt, they're 3-0.
Good
I'm
point.
I'm so happy that Josh Allen played well this game after all the hate that he's been getting over the couple weeks. People saying how he's a 1-year wonder, and then he goes out there and just spanks, beats, abuses Washington. And I guess Washington's defense has been disappointing. They blew them out of the water. It wasn't close. Josh Allen had over 5 total touchdowns, over 500 yards, or not 500, over 400 yards. He completely balled out that game, and he showed exactly why he is worth every single penny of that contract.
440.
What?
I don't know. I don't even know. I honestly, I don't have anything else to add. I thought the Bills played a good game. That's really it.
I think
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I think the Bills are the top team in the AFC right now, and I think, although if you said Browns, it wouldn't piss me off because that's not a bad take. But I would go with the Bills right now. It's one of those two. I think those two scare me more than the Chiefs do right now. And then I think for Washington and their future, if they don't turn stuff around, they could be finishing like 3rd in the division. I mean, I'm not throwing them out of the picture, but I do think that Dallas is easily the front runner in that division. But if we see Philadelphia play decent again tonight, keep it close with Dallas, then I might have something to say about that 2nd place in the division.
Yeah, look, I'm not going to overreact too much. I mean, Washington just lost to a really good football team. I mean, it's not like the Bills were like, oh my God, they're so much better than we thought. I mean, we knew they were going to be a top 2, top 3 team in the AFC, and I think they just played like one. Of course, they beat up on Washington's defense more than I think any of us thought was possible, especially because I thought Washington's defense was going to be, really good this year. But I mean, Buffalo just played well, and I don't really think there's much else you have to add. I do think Dallas is the front runner to win the division, of course. But I'm not going to count Washington out. I mean, they just got beat by a really good football team. I mean, not else you can really say.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, let's go. Titans 25, Colts 16. I'll start ranting about the Colts. See, here's the thing, though, is like everyone's like it's crazy. The Colts weren't supposed to start off 0-3, and like it's very frustrating. But at the same time, it's like we played the Seahawks. We played probably the best team in the league right now, the Rams, and we almost won. If it weren't for Wentz getting hurt and Eason coming in and throwing the game, and the Titans are also a good football team as well, but I am starting to question Frank Reich a little bit. He, in the past, tell me, last year he had a great year as a coach. He coached a team to 11-5 that I feel like the roster wasn't an actual 11-win team, but we got there. But I mean, from this year, I've just had so many questions about what the hell he's doing. Like, for instance, yesterday. Jonathan Taylor, 10 carries for 64 yards. He's averaging 6.4 yards per carry. Every time he touched the ball, it was electric. But he gets 5 touches in the second half. Carson Wentz is not 100%. It's obvious he's not 100%. If you watch Carson Wentz in the first 2 games of the year, his escapability is insane. He's escaping freaking Aaron Donald, and just our offensive line was horrible the first 2 games. And Wentz was able to escape all that. And you could tell against the Titans, he was I'm trying to think of the word for it, but he didn't want to you could tell he would fold when he normally wouldn't fold. He would just fall. The O line actually wasn't too bad yesterday, but what my problem is our red zone has got to be we got to be the worst red zone team in the league.
Nope, that's the Patriots.
Dude, we will literally drive down the field every single possession with ease and end up with 0 or 3 points, no matter what. We're
Patriots have
horrible.
four drives of 14 or more plays, and none of them have resulted in a touchdown. Their red zone offense is the worst in the NFL. It's awful. But yeah, I know where you're coming from. Honestly, I agree with you. I think Frank Reich needs to be questioned a little bit with 3 games into the season. I think his play calling's been, or situational play calling, I should say, has been a little bit weird. The fact that Jonathan Taylor only got 4 more carries than Nyheim Hines and only had 10 total is idiotic to me. I mean, Jonathan Taylor's a borderline, if not top 10 running back in the NFL, and he should be getting more than 10 carries. That's absolutely ridiculous to me, especially against a team like Tennessee, who gave up the 9th most rushing yards in the league last year. He should absolutely be getting more carries. And on top of that, you have Carson Wentz, who we all know is hurt. He almost didn't play this week. He shouldn't be throwing the ball 37 times. You should be running a run-heavy – like this is the easiest game plan of all time. You run a run-heavy game so that you take the pressure off Carson Wentz. You keep Ryan Tannehill and that red-hot offense off the field. You win the time of possession, and then you win overall. And you keep your defense, energy levels up. Like, this just seems like a easy game plan that Frank Reich just went the complete opposite direction of. We're not going to give our top 10 running back the ball. We're going to force our injured quarterback to throw the ball 37 times. It just doesn't make much sense to me. I think this is a game the Colts definitely should have won. You guys know how I feel about the Titans. I don't think they're frauds, but they're not as good as people think that they are. And I can't ingrain that enough. I mean, they're just not that good. I really don't think that they're all that great. If it wasn't for a Derrick Henry crazy second half, they're a 1-2 in Carson Wentz getting hurt and bad playing calling. They're 0-3 football team. I know that's like, oh, but if I understand that it's not concrete. But still, the Titans aren't as good, I promise you, and the Colts are not out of the division. Like, not to give you false hope for everybody, but I seriously think the Colts are still in this division. I don't think their schedule gets much easier. I mean, the next 2 games, are pretty hard, and then towards the end of the season, like the last 3 quarters can be a little difficult. But I think if the Colts catch heat, if Carson Wentz can just get healthy, and if the offensive line can protect him, and Frank Reich can just give the ball into Jonathan Taylor and his playmakers' hands, I think this team can be good, and I think Tennessee will crumble. I really do. I think I think offenses are going to figure out how to exploit this defense, and Tennessee's going to be forced into 38-35, 43-40, those type of football games, and I'm not exactly sure if the offense is going to be able to put up those numbers week in and week out. They're capable of it, but are they going to? I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, I'm just going to reflect everything you guys said. I mean, I don't have any comments. I mean, I don't think the Titans are as good as some people are trying to make it out to be, because some people tried to say they're a 12-win football team. Maybe they could be that, but it's like Tailgate said, their defense is questionable, or not questionable. The defense is awful. They're going to be constantly putting up over 30 points a game, which even that can be hard for the Chiefs sometimes. So, yeah, I'm just going to agree with you guys. I don't know if the Colts are necessarily still in huge contention. Now, I do think that I do think their game against Miami is going to be a lot easier than I first thought, because I think Miami's a bit weird. Miami's a bit weird of a team right now. No Tua. The defense has been kind of weird. It's been good, but it's definitely not what I thought it'd be. Xavier Howard has been getting cooked a little bit here and there. Their pass rush is pretty lacking. Jalen Phillips has been non-existent, which is shocking because I thought he was the best edge in the class. He's been basically non-existent, so I don't really know what's up with that Miami team. Will Fuller's back, though, so that should be fun for the team. But overall, I think the Colts could get past Miami easier than I thought before.
Yeah, I don't think Miami's very good. I'm just gonna come out here and say it. I think that they are all of a 1-2 football team. And they could definitely be 0-3. And they beat the Patriots. If Damian Harrison fumbled that football with 2 minutes to go, I mean, the Patriots win that game 10 times out of 10. Obviously, I mean, it's just a fumble. So Yeah, I mean, the Dolphins could be an 0-3. And of course, Tua's hurt. I don't think Jacoby Brissett to Tua is all that big of a difference. Like, Tua's good. He's an upgrade over Brissett, but is it that big of an upgrade?
He's
I don't think.
good.
You're on the same tier to me.
I do too. Like, I can't sit here confidently and say the Dolphins win yesterday with Tua instead of Brissett. Like, I thought Brissett actually played a pretty good game, and the score sheet doesn't say it, but Brissett played a good game 2 weeks ago. When Tua got hurt. I mean, he only threw for like 200 yards, but he played good football. I don't know how else to say it. If you just watch the game, like, oh, okay, he didn't play too bad. He played probably to Tua's level. So I think Dolphins, you've had a pretty average schedule to this point. It's going to get more difficult, and I don't know. I don't think Miami's all that great.
Yeah, just the frustrating parts about the Colts, though, it's like they're charted at 0-3. You see some idiots in their power rankings. I've seen them put as low as 27, 28. It's like we're a way better football team than that. You got to relax. I mean, you gas up the Rams all you want, which I agree with, but you don't give them any credit for being in a 3-point game with them. And the reason we have no chance to win is because our starting quarterback gets hurt. Just gonna forget that, I guess. And then the Seahawks and the Titans are both pretty good football teams. We've been in all these games. We just haven't been able to pull it out. So it's not like we look like the Giants or the Jets or the Falcons. Like, we look like a top 20, top 22 team in the league. Now, is that a division winner? Probably not. I don't know. But looking at our schedule, it's like we're perfectly capable of beating the Dolphins. I think we're perfectly capable of beating the Ravens. The Ravens played a great game against the Chiefs, but they sucked against the Raiders. They should have lost to the Lions. They have not really impressed me that much, except for the Chiefs game. Then we get the Texans, the Niners, the Titans, the Jets, the Jaguars. They're all teams that we're capable of beating. So I don't know. It's frustrating.
Exactly how people thought they were going to play. That's the thing. People knew the Colts were going to start out 1-5 or something like that.
That's what I'm saying.
And they're still going to finish 10-7. So I don't know why people are switching up so quick because they're 0-3. Like, we knew they were going to be 0-3. We knew that it was going to take time for Carson Wentz to get acclimated to the offense. We knew that entire just having a new quarterback in the system takes time. And we knew that it's not going to get be easy to get acclimated when you're facing the Seahawks, Rams, Titans, Dolphins, and Ravens. So like 440 said, then you get the Texans and you in there, you have the Jets, Titans again, Jaguars, Texans again. I mean, like, these are winnable football games. And I think 10-7 is definitely a possibility. I think 9-8 is a possibility for Tennessee too.
Well, let's go into the Saints-Patriots game. Whoever wants to lead with that one.
I will lead with that one because I didn't watch the third quarter. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I just turned the game off in the third quarter. I was so upset. After Mac Jones with the pick six, I couldn't watch anymore. It's less about Mac Jones, though. I will say I'm not going to be that guy who is just blind to reality and say, oh, Mac Jones is still the best rookie quarterback, even though he might be. So far, through 3 weeks, he might be. I don't know. It's kind of tough. But anyway, Josh McDaniels is the worst offensive coordinator in the NFL. He is horrendous. He is absolutely just disgustingly bad. I cannot stand him. He is the most uncreative offensive coordinator. They don't run plays that are, hard to predict. You know what the Patriots are going to run. They run the same 8 plays every single game. Their routes are the same exact routes the receivers run the entire game. They're just so predictable. That's why you see the Patriots putting up points in the first half and none in the second, because they don't adjust and defenses figure it out. The defense has been great. Their first half defense has been a little shaky, but they tighten things up in the second half, which is what we've seen for the Patriots for literally the past 2 decades. I think everything has been good except for Josh McDaniels. Damian Harris is playing a little worse than I thought he would. He's still on track for a 1,000-yard season because he's, a beast. But Mac Jones he's doing fine. Mac Jones is doing exactly how I thought he was going to. He's playing conservative football, but I don't think it's his fault. I think it's just McDaniels. Please get McDaniels out of there, or we're going to be a sub 500 team. It's getting ugly. It really is, and this team is going to get worse as the season goes on if McDaniels is still the offensive coordinator.
How do you feel about your matchup versus the Bucks next week?
I'm
Hey, we play the Rams next week, so it's okay.
Yeah, 1-3 does not look good. 1-3 looks really bad. When I didn't think that the start of the year would be worse than last year's start, even though last year's start was like really good, especially after Seattle. But like holy moly, man. Like this is bad. This is really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still think. I mean, I think the Patriots are a lot better than they're playing right now, and I'm
So
not.
much better.
It's not like I'm not too worried. I really feel like they'll figure it out, and be around 500, maybe even above 500. Because I had them as a 7 seed preseason. I don't know how I feel about that right now because they're not playing as good as I think they are. But we'll see. And then the Saints, that defense is so good. That defense is so underrated. And if Jameis Winston can just be a serviceable quarterback, and they're going to have Michael Thomas back most likely, and that defense, if they play at the level they're playing right now, I think that could be an above 500 team.
People overreacted so much over the offseason to the Saints. I
Yeah.
can't stand it. People overreacted so much. Like, oh my God, the Saints defense is going to be awful now. They lost so much depth. Like, I don't care about depth. Depth means it's a bunch of guys who aren't good enough to be starters. Those are replaceable positions. They maintained all the positions of need except for Trey Hendrickson. He's the only guy that left, and I still think the pass rush in the run stop is fine. So, like, people overreacted so much. Jameis, don't overreact to last week either. Their entire coaching staff had COVID. So as far as I'm concerned, this is still a 2-0 football team with just an asterisk next to it. I'm still pretty high on the Saints. Are they going to challenge the division? No. But are they going to be a wild card team? I think absolutely. I think especially with the way that the Vikings are trending. It was a good win last week, but the Vikings are still a 1-2 football team. And I think that they're kind of going to be like 2 years ago's Chargers when the Chargers were like a 500 team, but they had like 14 games that went to one score or less. I think that's going to be the Vikings this year. And whether they can close it out or not, we'll just have to see. But I think that the Saints are very capable of making that 7th spot.
I think they could. I think they could beat the Bucks at least once. I think they could.
Saints over Bucks once.
I think they could. They could drop a win
They
over the
did it
Bucks.
twice last year.
They look good this year. Like their one loss was because they had basically every single coach missing. So yeah. I like the Saints.
All right, let's get into the Falcons-Giants game. Can't wait to crap on the Giants. My favorite thing to do. Bottom 3 football team, as simple as that. The offensive line is horrible. The defense is not playing at the level it was supposed to be playing at. Kenny Golladay is stirring up a lot of fire in the locker room. His mom's been out all over Twitter complaining about his targets. It's a bunch of crap going on there. I don't know how long this Daniel Jones, Dave Gettleman era is going to happen. I will say Daniel Jones has not sucked horribly this year. Can't really blame many of the losses on him, but just the Giants in general, they might be the second worst team in football right now. And honestly, I mean, you pulling up their schedule. Let me pull the schedule up real quick. They have like a legitimate chance. They got a legitimate chance to start out like 0-10 because they got so they're 0-3 now. Then they get the Saints, the Cowboys, the Rams, the Panthers, the Chiefs, the Raiders, the Buccaneers. Then they got the Eagles, Dolphins, Chargers, Cowboys. Their schedule is kind of a tough schedule. And we keep saying like 6-11 win team. And I don't want to overreact, but the way they're playing right now and the way their schedule is looking, this could be a 3-win team. And I don't know. They don't look good at all.
Number one overall pick.
Yeah, every team you set up into the Bucks, I think they could lose to, or Eagles, I should say, including the Bucks. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, 0-10. That's very possible. Is that gonna happen? I don't know. They'll probably squeak out a win.
Yeah.
Thursday or Raiders or something. But like, I think you're completely right. I remember 440 and I got so much shit. We got so much shit when we said that Washington was gonna win the division and Cowboys were gonna finish second and Giants were gonna finish third. But like, this is why. I mean, I was never sold on the Giants. I never thought that the off season acquisitions were really going to amount to much, and it's clear as day that they really haven't. This offensive line has been lackluster. Of course, it's had 2 injuries, so you have to take that into account. But like the offense just hasn't been that great. They had one game against Washington. They had one game. But besides that, they put up 13 against Denver. Granted, it's a good defense. And then 14 against the Falcons, dude. 14 against Atlanta. That is embarrassing. I mean, that's embarrassingly bad if you're putting up 14 points to arguably the worst defense in the NFL. I mean, the panic button is on. Mr. Jack Football is already making TikToks about saying how they're going to win the division next year, which I think is absolutely hilarious. I ragged on him so hard for that. Giants fans are already giving up, which I think is quite comical. I would too. Giants suck.
Yeah, with like, oh my god, because I was like, I said 5 or 6 win team all off season, and then you get Giants fans. No, we're a 9 or 10 win team. We're contending for the division.
Yeah, I mean, basically how I can talk about the Falcons is that they're exactly. I mean, I don't want to say I called it, but I called it. The Falcons suck. Arthur Smith, I don't know what he's doing. You need to get. I'm so upset that they haven't gotten Kyle Pitts involved because it's not Kyle Pitts' fault. They just haven't been getting him involved, which is so stupid. Maybe that's why Johnny Smith was never that good because he never really got him involved. Hopefully the same thing doesn't happen here because Kyle Pitts is just way too talented of a player to not use properly. It feels like he's one of the least targeted people on that team, which is kind of dumb considering he took him fourth overall. Arthur Smith, I never really liked him as a head coach. I just liked him as an offensive coordinator, and it looks like I'm right about that. Atlanta is so bad. Please draft a quarterback. Please get rid of Arthur Smith already. I don't care. Get rid of Arthur Smith already because if he's not using Kyle Pitts, he's a bad head coach. So they're going to draft a quarterback next year, whoever the hell it's going to be. I don't know who QB1 is anymore. It could be Matt Corral. It could be Rattler. It could be me. Like, I don't even know. I don't know who QB1 is. Like, it's a joke. Like, college football right now is a mess. Like, it gives me
I
a
have
headache.
watched one game. I could care less right now, if I'm being honest.
The entire draft process right now is just the best player in the draft is a fucking safety. So, yeah, that's how much it is a mess right now.
All right, well, let's go to the Steelers, Bengals. All I gotta say is Big Ben is washed. He's horrible. It's like a bottom 3 starting quarter. Like, how if you go to each team, how many other like starting quarterbacks would you rather have over Big Ben?
None.
He's horrible.
Like 6 or 7.
That's too nice.
Real nice.
That's too nice. I would take all the rookies over him. I'd take all the first round rookies. I'd take all the first round rookies over him. I would take Daniel Jones. I would take Taylor Heineke. I would take I would take Teddy Bridgewater the way he's playing. A healthy Tyrod Taylor. I would take
440.
I'd take 440.
I think 440 is a pretty good arm. I would take him. I've heard he had some pretty good highlights in high school. I would take him.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I would take a lot of quarterbacks over Ben right now. Ben is awful.
Yeah, he's pretty bad. I don't know. I didn't really watch a whole lot of that game just because I don't really care. If I'm being honest, I didn't think that either team was going to be that good, so I didn't think to watch it. But I mean, the Steelers lost, and it looks like they lost scoreboard wise. Looks like they lost pretty handsomely.
Well, yeah.
What I will say real quick is Jamar Chase is currently the offensive favorite of the year pick, and it's not really particularly close. Most of the rookie quarterbacks haven't really been that good. Most of the rookie running backs haven't really been that great. Najee Harris has been.
Najee Harris has
not. Yeah.
19 targets. Najee Harris. That might be my best take of the offseason when it comes to fantasy is just please stock up on him because like I was so remarkably high on him. I've never been higher on a player than Najee Harris. And I mean, no other running back took a snap. Like if we're just gonna do a little 2-minute fantasy football segment for Najee Harris, please trade Christian McCaffrey for him. Do something. Like obviously don't do it straight up, but like get Najee Harris, dude. 19 targets for a running back is absolutely ridiculous. Now, of course, some of that's because of Deontay Johnson, but are we really going to rely on Deontay Johnson to be healthy for the entire season?
Well, I will say, like, I mean, I totally get, like, Najee is super involved. He's a big part of the offense. He's going to keep getting targets and catches. But, yeah, Deontay was out. Juju came out of the game early, and even Claypool was out of the game for a little bit. So, like, if you watch the game, it was honestly hilarious watching it because their only plan was just dump it off to Najee because all three of their receivers are out. And Claypool played most of the game.
He was their offense. And whether his offense goes down a little bit in the receiving game, that's fine. But that means that they're not going to be stacking the box as much, and they're going to be accounting for Juju and Deontay on the outside. And then they're going to run it to Najee more because he's the only running back there. And he's going to be getting every single goal line carry. Like, he's going to be an absolute monster this year. Please just try. I'm not a big fan of trading for a player like trading for Cooper Kupp right now. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't trade for a player who's been playing extremely well. I'd make an exception here. I think he's that good. I don't even think we've reached his ceiling yet. I think he's that good. Najee's going to be insane.
Jamar Chase is still my pick, though, for offensive rookie of the year. Najee will get a ton of targets and stuff, but I think right now Jamar Chase is currently the front runner for offensive rookie of the year. He already has 4 touchdowns, 200 yards receiving. He has more touchdowns than I'm pretty sure Mac Jones does.
Hey, whoa. That's left field. It's a little rude.
I had to throw it at them. Sorry.
Mac Jones is only bad because of Josh McDaniels. That's the only.
That's fine. That's fine. But no, anyway, Jamar Chase is currently the front runner for overall, and I wouldn't be shocked if he has a Justin Jefferson type season. I really, really won't, because it's clear that he's the number 1 target on that team by a good margin.
All right. Well, let's
about
go.
that. We can move on, but I don't know about that.
All right. Well, we're gonna go to Ravens 19, Lions 17. I got two short, simple takeaways. First of all, the Lions, like I said, I will keep repeating it. They're gonna win 5 games this year. They look like they're not on. I don't even know if they're a bottom 5 team in my eyes. Even if they're 0-3, they should have won that damn game. If it wasn't for the delay of game, just classic Lions. And the other takeaway is that I don't see too much in the Ravens. I know they're a good team, but they have severely disappointed me in 2 of their 3 games. I don't know what it is, but they've been awful against horrible teams.
Yeah, I'm not going to really add too much to that. I was weary all offseason of the Ravens. I don't know why them against the Browns was so much of a debate. I thought that the Browns they blew them out of the water in every category. But yeah, especially when you have all those injuries that they were plagued with before the season, there is a lot of cause for concern for the Baltimore Ravens. You can't rely on Lamar Jackson for everything, and I think like last game again, it's Ravens on a short week traveling to Detroit, so I didn't expect them to put up like 40, but I also didn't expect them to need a 66-yard field goal from Justin Tucker to win the game. I thought they were going to win by at least 10. So, yeah, there's definitely cause for concern for the Ravens.
Lamar Jackson's completion percentage, by the way, is 60% on the year. So I'm just going to throw that out there. Lamar Jackson has not been accurate at all. He had a horrible
how many
game.
rushing yards does he have?
He's probably top 5 in the NFL.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I could give 2 shits about his completion percentage. He's top 5 in rushing yards.
All I'm going to say is the debate between Kyler and Lamar. It's obviously still Lamar, but it's a debate. I'm just going to say that now.
He's still throwing for 340 yards per game.
Lewis?
Lamar.
I mean, so is Kyler, except he's doing it with a way higher completion percentage.
Yeah, and Lamar's legs are doing it a lot better than Kyler's are.
How many rushing touchdowns does Kyler have? 3?
Lamar has 2. How many more yards does Lamar have on the ground? Look, I'm just saying the eye test, dude. Lamar just looks like a better rushing quarterback than Kyler does.
Of course he does. He looks like a better rushing quarterback, but I'm just saying.
So I think he's making up for the ground. And also, I would take DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Kirk, Rondale Moore, A.J. Green.
I agree that
I'm saying washed. A washed Mark Andrews and Marquise Brown, who dropped 3 passes yesterday, 2 of which were touchdowns.
Okay, I get
And I
that.
have
get
Lamar
that,
in
but let's
fantasy, so my heart was aching yesterday when I saw that.
I get that Lamar's weapons are good, but let's not act like the gap between Kyler's throwing and Lamar's throwing is close because it's really not.
I understand that. I still
It
think
isn't.
Lamar's better, and I don't think it's a debate.
He is better. He is better. Right now, he's better. But all I'm trying to say is the debate right now between Lamar Jackson and Kyler, it's a debate now. I would still take Lamar. By the end of the season, I'm probably going to change my mind. Like, Kyler's just more talented, and you can just see that while watching. Like, you can just watch the two play. Just tell me who is the more talented football player. It's Kyler Murray. But as of right now, I'm still taking Lamar, though, because Kyler still needs to prove a bit more to me. We'll see how he does. The true thing about the Cardinals this week is we're going to see who they really are, because their next 3 games, they play the Rams, they play the Niners, then they play the Browns.
I'm so excited.
So we're going to see who they actually are. If they can win at least 2 of those games, I view them as a legit playoff locks, but we'll see what happens.
Okay, Mark Andrews is 26, right?
Yeah, that comment was weird. That was a weird comment.
I agree that I do think he's
Washed.
overrated a little bit, but I
Washed.
wouldn't say washed.
I
Washed.
wouldn't say washed.
He's being washed
Washed.
at 26.
He's washed.
All
Stand by
right.
what I said. He's washed.
Let's go to the Broncos Jets blowout 26-0. I also think 2 short, simple takeaways. The Broncos are, once again, they're not proven because they played 3 crappy
Broncos
teams.
haven't beaten anybody. Okay, no. Pickenspreads, here's the thing, dude. It's kind of hypocritical because you're clowning on the Panthers for being 3-0 in that they haven't beaten anybody. Yet you're being all like high and mighty about the Broncos, even though they beat the Giants, who we already said suck. The Jaguars, who are a bottom 3 team. They beat the worst 3 teams in the NFL. Giants, Jaguars, and Jets. How can you be so like, let's go when they beat the literally speaking, they beat the 3 worst teams in the NFL.
I agree with you. I
They
agree.
beat the 3 worst teams.
I agree. They have played cupcakes. When you look at that roster is exactly what I said. I remember you exactly saying Von Miller could potentially be a problem. Von Miller currently has 4 sacks on the season without Bradley Chubb. So he's the one that's been eating the double teams, and he still has 4 sacks. Their defense has been exactly what I said. They locked down Zach Wilson. No team this year has been able to. Okay, no. 0 points. At least he scored on the Patriots. At least he scored on the Patriots.
It was garbage time.
Okay. And they held him to 0 points the whole game. The entire game, 0 points.
Big whoop.
Their defense is exactly what I said it was going to be.
He had 4 picks and 4 completions at one point.
Their defense is exactly what I said it was going to be. It is going to be one of the best defenses in the league. It's already proven that. I don't know how they're going to do against the Ravens though, because the Ravens is going to be an interesting matchup though, because what makes Denver good is their passing game. Well, not the passing game, the passing defense, and the Ravens are more of a running team. So I think that game's going to be interesting to watch because they're going to have to completely change some stuff.
I'm just going to say this: Denver's giving me Pittsburgh vibes. That's what I will say.
No, absolutely.
I'm getting
not.
Pittsburgh vibes.
No. Their offense is way better than Pittsburgh's was. Teddy
Here's
Bridgewater's
what I'll
playing
say
like
about
a good
that.
quarterback.
This was my opinion on the Broncos. Yes, they're not fully proven to me because they beat 3 crappy teams. However, it's the way they beat those 3 crappy teams. They blew them all out. That's not what Pittsburgh
them
did.
all
Pittsburgh last
out.
year.
You should
Pittsburgh
blow out
struggled.
crappy
Pittsburgh
teams.
barely
Exactly,
beat
and that's
all
what they're
those
doing.
ones.
Good teams blow out crappy teams.
I'm not
Steelers
saying
weren't
they're the
blowing
same team. Guys, you're taking it a little too literally. I'm just saying I think people are overreacting a little bit too much to the Denver
What I
Broncos.
will say is that right now, I know they played crappy teams, but everything I've said about Denver, everything I said, outside of maybe the record part, I said that their offense would be good. I said their defense would be
Yes,
elite. Everything I've said
it's
against
bad
picture
competition.
perfect.
It's been against bad competition.
And I
want to see
accept
what
that.
they
I
can do
accept
against
that.
good competition. I'm not saying just so I could clear the air and set the record straight. I'm not saying Denver can't be good because, for the record, I do want to get this out there because I don't want people to be like, "Haha, Tailgate, you idiot." I said the Broncos with Drew Lock would be a shit football team. I said they would be much better with Teddy Bridgewater. And Pickenspreads, you need to back me up here.
No,
I did say that.
Yeah.
I said they would be much better.
But you did say that they were still going to miss the playoffs with Teddy. You did say that.
I did, and I still think that's a possibility. Like I'm not gonna go against my word because of 3 measly football games.
I get it.
Against 3 teams that they should have beat.
And I think the Ravens is a little weird because I don't think they match up well against the Ravens. Maybe they can beat them though because the
There's
Ravens.
a very good chance they go 0-6 in the next 6 games. That's not out of the question. It's not.
No, it's not.
You can't tell me they may not lose to the Ravens, the Steelers, the Raiders.
They're going to beat the
Browns,
Steelers.
and
Are you
Washington
kidding me?
Cowboys.
Are you kidding me? They are going to beat
They'll
the
probably be the
Steelers.
Steelers. I'm just saying it's not out of the question they go 0-6.
I think they match up well against Dallas, though. I think they could beat Dallas not pretty easily, but I think they match up extremely well against Dallas. The best passing defense in the league against one of the top against one of the top passing teams in the league. Their run game is like non-existent with Zeke. Their defense is better. It's not good, but it's better. I think they match up well against Dallas. I think they could beat up Dallas. I think they're going to beat up Pittsburgh. Baltimore's a bit questionable for me, though, but I still view you can say yes, they played crappy teams, absolutely. But everything I have said about the Broncos for the entire offseason, I said their defense would be elite. I said their offense was going to be good. Everything I've said, I even said Von Miller was going to be good, and right now he's arguably playing like a top 10 edge rusher in the league. Everything I've said about the Broncos has been picture perfect so far. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe they could fall off a cliff soon, but as of right now, everything I've said, 440 can agree with me. Everything I've said has been picture perfect. I mean, sure it's against crappy teams, but I mean, like, have I been wrong?
Well, I hope not. It's against crappy teams. The Patriots would be 3-0.
All right, well, let's go over to the Raiders. Dolphins 31-28 overtime. Like we talked about earlier, I really think I nailed it with the Dolphins predictions this offseason. As of they're looking right now, I had them at 8-9, and everyone clowned on me, said they're a 10 or 11 win team, they're a playoff team, and I just never really liked their defense all that much. I always said it wasn't top 10. And it's not looking like top 10. It hasn't been bad. It's just been not what people expected it to be. And the offense is bad. They arguably were better with Brissett. Not that Brissett's better with Tua or better than Tua, but they're on the same tier. And the offensive line's horrible. I don't know. I don't think they're in a 500 team. But for the Raiders, Carr looks damn good.
Dolphins. Unfortunately, this tackle class is for next year. It's not the greatest, so should have taken Sewell. I still stand by that. A fun fact, I gave the Jalen Waddle pick a C+, and I got screamed at by Dolphins fans. And I'm like, I'm sorry, the offensive line sucks, and you should have taken it. Not only that, I understand they have the 49ers pick. That's cool. I just want to say this real quick. It's kind of off topic, but it is about the Dolphins. The Dolphins gave up their first-round pick next year for Jalen Waddle. And I don't know. I like that for the future, but this isn't a team that's really – it doesn't seem like they want the future. It seems like they want now. They want to make the playoffs now. And I said they should have taken Sewell if they wanted to because they
every
brought in
team
Will
besides
Fuller.
Jacksonville Jaguars should have taken Sewell. I stand by that. And I mean every team.
Not that – no, the Jets need a quarterback so bad.
No,
Are you
I
kidding?
like
Dude,
Darnold.
James – oh, well, I mean, okay, that I can get.
I still like Darnold.
That I get, but after they traded him,
Of course.
Yeah. Also, I'm gonna say this: I would have drafted Kyle Pitts over Penei Sewell, and I'm a big Penei Sewell guy. But they're both generational talents. So,
I still think it comes down to positional needs, and at that point,
I get that. I get
more
that.
important. You know what I mean?
For sure, yeah. It's much easier. It's much harder to get a franchise left tackle than it is. I mean, the thing about Kyle Pitts is just he's just something we've never really seen, but it is definitely hard to get a franchise left tackle. Trust me, as a Cardinals fan, I know. But back to the Dolphins game. The Dolphins have been very underwhelming this season. I get it's a small sample size, but man, they have been underwhelming. I thought so much better of them. Everything
I never thought Miami was going to be that good.
I've said about Tua has been right, even though he hasn't played much. In that one game, I saw everything I needed to see. I see an average system quarterback, and I said it on my own podcast, and I'll say it on this one. As long as the Dolphins have Tua, I'm sorry, you are never, ever, ever, ever going to beat the Bills. You just won't. Josh Allen is better than Tua in every way possible. Like, as long as Josh Allen is there, you're never going to get past Buffalo in the playoffs. If you guys
better throwing with his left hand than Josh Allen is.
My bad. I apologize. Well, I mean, honestly, I don't even. I don't know.
We haven't seen it. We haven't seen it.
I think the real question is, can he throw the ball farther with his left hand? I don't think that's out of the question. I don't think that's out of the question. But anyway, back to the Dolphins. Tua is not the guy. I was one of the few people that said they should have kept that third overall pick and taken Trey Lance or Justin Fields. Probably Justin Fields because Trey Lance is kind of a project. Tua was not the guy. I'm sorry. And I like Tua. Tua was my QB too. I like Tua. Tua is a system quarterback. You're not going to win a Super Bowl. The point of the NFL is to get to the Super Bowl. You're not going to win the Super Bowl if you have a system quarterback unless you're like the Browns and your roster is just perfect, like in every way possible. Because the Browns roster is basically perfect. And even then, we don't know if they will make the Super Bowl. And it's because of Baker. Like you put Derek Carr on that offense, they're going to the Super Bowl. They will. And come on.
I don't know. I that's way too hypothetical for me. Like I'm still one of those guys where it's like, unless your coach is ridiculous and like unless you're the San Francisco 49ers, like you need a top 7 quarterback to get to the Super Bowl.
I like Kevin Stefanski. I think he's done a good job.
Stefanski's great. I can't confidently pick the Browns to go to the Super Bowl.
No, I get that. And I mean, it's just that's just kind of helps my narrative even more. As long as Tua is that quarterback, I don't see a Super Bowl anytime soon. And I like Tua as before, but now I was blinded by his stats by Alabama. I was blinded by his supporting cast. And I know you can make the same argument for Mac Jones. And Mac Jones, I still think, is better than Tua, in my opinion. I think he is better. Everything that Tua is good at, Mac Jones is basically that, but better.
I think Mac Jones is currently better than Tua. If I'm going to be completely honest.
I agree.
I think if you give Mac Jones Dolphins play calling, I think he blows Tua out of the water. I can't. I'm probably like annoying you guys at home, but like I cannot stand Josh McDaniels. But even last season, I kind of gave him the benefit of the doubt because I'm like I couldn't imagine calling plays when you have Cam Newton at quarterback. But like, I mean, it's brutal. It really is. Do they have the best talent in the world? No, but they have 2 top 10 tight ends, and I could go on and on about all the talent they have. But like, you can do stuff with that offense, and there's no reason you have to be this conservative.
But at the end of the day, honestly, I think you can make an argument saying Jalen Hurts is better than Tua. I can't believe I'm saying that because I hated Jalen Hurts. But I mean, you can make an argument for it. There's an argument.
I can't. It's only been 3 weeks. I can't.
The argument
I still came into the year saying Jalen Hurts was the worst quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, I said he was bottom 3, but I think there's a legit argument. I'm not saying he is, but I'm saying there's an argument. At the end of the day, Tua is not the guy. They should have taken Fields, and now unfortunately, I don't know. I thought the Dolphins would be good because I love Brian Flores so much, and I still do like Brian Flores. But man, that is not a playoff team.
Yeah. No.
All right. Well, let's go over to the Bucs and the Rams. I think the Rams should be number 1 on everyone's power rankings right now. They look like by far the best team in the league to me because I did have the Chiefs and the Bucs ahead of them. But after this week, the Chiefs are a 2-loss team. They're not even the scariest in the AFC to me. I think the Rams are so complete. I think I don't know why we never thought about it, but I mean, if you match up the Rams roster and the Bucs roster, it's a close one. I mean,
it's not awful.
The Rams have a great passing offense. They can run the ball 10 times better than the Bucs can. They're obviously the Bucs front 7 is better, but the Rams have a damn good one too. And the secondary, the Bucs have a bad secondary. I mean, it's just not
awful, dude. We looked. I just you can go ahead when you're done. Just man.
Yeah, but I mean, I think the Rams are better than the Bucs right now. Maybe that's overreacting to just this game, but it wasn't really a close game. Stafford looks like the front runner MVP to me right now. Cooper Kupp has been absolutely ridiculous. I don't know where the hell Deshaun Jackson came from. He's like 49 years old, but like he went off. And I think Sean McVay is the 3rd best coach in the league. So this team right now is number 1 for me. And I think their roster is debatably better than the Bucs.
This team is juiced. This team is absolutely juiced. I don't know. Also, really weird. Van Jefferson has more receiving yards than Robert Woods.
Weird.
I don't know. The Rams are unreal, and I'm actually not that surprised they beat the Bucs because I feel like it's kind of like Yeah, I picked the Rams to win too. I didn't. I thought this was kind of like a trap game for the Bucks because last season, I mean, they almost beat him with Jared Goff and they were away, and now they're home. So I just thought, I'll take the Rams.
They did beat him with Jared Goff. They did beat him with Jared
That's right.
Goff.
Sorry, they did. That's why I picked the Rams. I'm not too worried though. I think the Bucks are going to be just fine. But yeah, like I can't with a clear conscience put the Bucks ahead of the Rams because like I know just head to head doesn't decide everything, of course, because there's so many other things that go into it. But like when it's this early in the season, like I mean, they beat them, so I feel like they are the better team right now. Yeah, I would have the Rams 1, probably Bucks 2, Browns 3, Bills 4. No, Bills 3, Browns 4, I would say. And number 5, I have no idea. Put whoever you want at 5. Maybe even the Packers, honestly.
You got the Cardinals, Cardinals or Packers.
I'd put the Packers over the Cardinals.
Yeah. So I think we've been very overrating the Bucs secondary, and I think we just look past it because of how good that front seven is. I understand they don't have Sean Murphy-Bunting, and he's arguably their best cornerback, but still, it's not like Carlton Davis is bad. He's still good, but like outside that secondary is just Antoine Winfield is playing okay this year. I'm pretty sure I haven't looked too much into it. The Bucs can't run at all to save their life, run the football at all. Tom Brady needs to rely on himself to pass a ton, and I don't know if he'll be able to do that consistently enough to be the best team in the league.
Well.
I would definitely say Matt Stafford is definitely one of the front runners for MVP. In my opinion, I can't really decide between the three. I think currently the top 3 front runners would be Kyler, Brady, and Stafford. I think those are currently if you could say any of those guys are the front runner, and I would agree with you. They're all playing so well. The Rams are easily the best team in the league, in my opinion. I think we've been overrating the Bucs secondary. I don't know if this secondary continues to play like this and they have no run game, I think the Bucs have been a bit overrated. And I don't want to say that because I like how complete and good that Bucs team actually is, and they're obviously still one of the best teams in the league. But like for the longest time, we've been saying, "Oh, it's the Bucs by far, and it's not close." Well, no run game, a bad secondary. That's something to definitely raise an eyebrow. So, the way I see it, the Rams are the best team in the league. Matt Stafford's playing unbelievable. And I'm happy for him because he finally is on a team where he can show his true talent. And the Rams are fun, by the way. I don't know if you guys watched the game. The Rams are so much fun to watch.
Oh, God.
There's a handful of teams in the league that are just so much fun to watch. One is the Rams, another one's the Cardinals, another one's the Chiefs, because they just have quarterbacks that just pop off your screen.
I had Red Zone on my TV, and then I had like an individual game on my computer. So I went from the Patriots and Josh McDaniels play calling to then Sean McVay and the Rams. And I got so jealous. I was so
much fun.
Jealous. I mean, there's so much creativity that goes with it. And I mean, I understand when you have all of those weapons and now you add in 49-year-old, like 440 said, Deshaun Jackson. I mean, it just adds just another element to that offense. But like they can come at you a lot of different ways. And I think that's why we've seen the Rams. They're one of those teams where they don't really burn out, because they're always new. They're always a team that can throw out new sets, new formations, new plays, and just kind of surprise you. So yeah, I think the Rams should be the current favorite in the NFC. But again, guys, my common theme for the podcast, I have 2. Josh McDaniels sucks, and also it's only week 3. Let's not overreact too much. But I will say we're gonna see some trends develop. None enough to kind of sway my decision.
Next week's going to be a really interesting week because both the NFC West teams play each other. The Cardinals play the Rams, and then the 49ers play the Seahawks. So we'll also learn a lot more about the NFC West, because we've seen these teams play outside of the division, but it's inside the division is what we want to see, because this is
week 4 is the week that tells me a lot about like fantasy football. Week 6 is what tells me a lot about the NFL.
Week 4 is I don't know if it's going to tell me everything, but it's going to tell me a good bit about how I feel about the NFC West. Currently, how I feel about the NFC West is the Rams are the best team by far, and then I would put the Cardinals, and then I would put the Niners, and I think the Seahawks are pretty down there. By the way, I was right about Seattle. I know it's an overreaction, but man, if Russell Wilson is not carrying that franchise like top tier, they are not going to win football games because their defense has been bad. Jamal Adams has taken a huge step down. He's not as bad as he was last year, but to say that he's back to like he's definitely not back to what he was in 2018, 2019 on the Jets. Absolutely not. He's playing about the same in coverage as he was his rookie year, and that's not anything special. Jamal's been pretty bad. Bobby Wagner can't really cover that well. He's just a tackle machine. The best quarterback is Trey Flowers. I mean, this Seattle team, the Seattle defense sucks. And if Russell Wilson isn't throwing 4 or 5 touchdowns again, they're not going to win football games.
They have a brutal schedule.
Yeah.
You guys love to get sidetracked, but the next game was the Seahawks game anyway, so just segue that.
I mean, I guess.
I full for. I need to hear more from you, dude.
Yeah, you talk, man.
This game is particularly not one I have multiple thoughts on, but I don't know. I think Kirk Cousins looks good. I think people can chill out with the MVP stuff. That's a little dumb, but
Yeah.
have you not heard that?
Jeez.
Everyone's like,
no, I'm not really on TikTok as much.
It was mostly on Twitter. I get a lot of comments, and they're like, if Kirk keeps playing like this and the Vikings start winning, he's an MVP candidate. And I was like, I don't know about that one, but
someone tried to tell me he was if the Vikings were 3-0 right now, he'd be higher in the odds. He'd be top 2 in the MVP voting, and I'm like, yeah. No. Like, there's no possible way you can say that.
I mean,
there's
he
no
has
way
the stats.
There's no way you can put him ahead of Stafford, Brady, or Kyler.
I'm not saying I am. I'm just saying he has the stats.
I know you're not. I'm just saying. Okay, anyway, 440, continue.
yeah, but I mean,
Picknspreads and I get so sidetracked. It's so bad.
I know, dude. You guys that's why I'm always sitting here just watching the screen because you guys will talk about 8 different things. And I'm like, what the hell are we talking about?
It's so bad.
The Vikings, I think, are one of those teams that are super fun to watch because all their games are going to be super close, no matter who they're playing. They're playing a bad team, should be close. They're playing a good team, they're going to keep it close. I still think the Vikings are contending for that 7 seed. In the NFC, because I think the 5 and 6 right now should be the Cardinals and the Niners. And that 7-1, I think, could be open for the Vikings, Seahawks, the Saints, or the Panthers. And then the Seahawks, I think, like you guys said, I think they're the worst team in the NFC West, but I still think they could possibly be a playoff team. They're just going to have to try to split with everyone in their division. But those 2 losses, I think the last 2 weeks were kind of some big losses because that's going to make a big impact on their playoff chances later in the year.
Yeah. I don't really have much to add on that. I'm still not completely down on Seattle though. I'm not going to count out Russell Wilson.
They don't
still
look
top 5 quarterback.
Horrible.
They don't look bad. I think they just made some. They just couldn't play the second half versus the Vikings. On the Titans, they just got beat. I think it's just the run game. Honestly, the run game in the second half is killing them. It looks like they're getting really tired on defense because Derrick Henry ran for 150 yards in the second half alone. And then Alexander Madison, I had him in fantasy, dude. He just absolutely destroyed them with screen routes. And even the fourth quarter, I think he ran for 60 yards alone. I mean, he just this run defense is the only thing that's really, really, truly killing them. The pass defense is I don't know, do they have the names? No, but I don't think that they're losing because of the pass game. I think it's more of the run defense. I wouldn't. I'm not completely down and out about Seattle though. I'm not gonna say they're just gonna finish last in the division just because of 3 weeks.
All right, let's get into the last game. Got 5 minutes left in this podcast. But Packers 30, Niners 28. Whoever wants to start with that.
49ers are not frauds. Get that thought out of your head right now. People are clowning on the Niners a little bit, saying that they're frauds. Let's calm down. It took the reigning MVP to drive down the field with 37 seconds left and put up a game-winning field goal from 51 yards to beat the Niners. Let's calm down. The Packers are a very good team, and the Niners is still 100% a playoff team. Trey Lance needs to come in, though, very soon. And I'm a guy that says that Trey Lance should be sitting, and I still want to believe that. Oh, my God, Jimmy Garoppolo sucks. Trey Lance needs to come in very soon if you want to make the playoffs.
All you 440.
Can you guys hear that TV in the background?
A little bit.
All right. Yeah, I can't figure out my volume. Packers, I think they showed that they're an actual good football team. And it just shows the idiots from week one saying Aaron Rodgers isn't even trying. He's trying to throw the games away. Like, that was so
That pissed me
childish of
off.
people to say. That was just so damn annoying to me. Um, but I do think the Packers are the third best team in the NFC, behind the Rams and the Bucks. You can make an argument for the Cardinals. Still early for me though. But that was a great game. Niners, I think once again they're going to be fine. That they're going to be a playoff team either way. I do think the NFC playoffs are going to be super fun to watch because Rams, Bucks, Packers, Niners, Cardinals, those teams are all capable of beating each other.
I'm not too down about Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, when you don't have a running game at all, I mean it's kind of tough to navigate your way through that. So I'm not just gonna again, just because of 3 games, I'm not just gonna say put in Trey Lance. That just seems kind of premature to me because again, before the season, everybody's saying let's sit Trey Lance for the year. Let's sit Trey Lance for at least half the year. And now just because of 3 games, we're gonna completely change in our narrative. That just doesn't make any sense to me. Jimmy Garoppolo is not playing bad enough to where you need to bench him. That's extremely premature. I mean, he's averaging 260 yards. He's got 4 touchdowns, 1 pick. That's not bad. Sorry, he has 5 touchdowns. He has a rushing touchdown too. 5 touchdowns, 1 pick, and a 67% completion percentage. I don't see why you have to bench that when your leading rusher is a guy who I hadn't heard of before the season even started. I'm really not too worried about the Niners. The defense has been, it's what we thought it was going to be. Of course, the Packers put up more points, in the first half than I thought they were going to, and I guess in the game overall. But the 49ers are going to be fine. They're going to make the playoffs. They're probably going to win the wild card, lose the second round. I feel like that's kind of what they are. And now, don't start Trey Lance until next year, especially when you have a veteran who took you to the Super Bowl 2 years ago.
Took him to the Super Bowl.
He navigated them. He assisted them, kind of.
He was in the back of the bus.
He was also on the team.
He was in the back of the bus.
But then that should tell you even more that you don't have to start Trey Lance.
That team isn't the same what it was though in 2019.
No, it's not. I'm just saying you don't need to start Trey Lance. You don't. There's no reason to. All right, we're good. Picknspreads. We're getting sidetracked again. We gotta stop.
Well, we're gonna run out of time, so we're gonna end the podcast there. As always, leave a comment, leave a thumbs up, subscribe. The usual. Go check out all of our platforms: Picknspreads, Tailgate Podcast, and 440 Sports. Peace.